Hello there, Internet. MegaMogwai here, and I got yet another MTG Arena video for you guys today. Apologies for the lack of upload yesterday. Fun fact, my soon-to-be wife is actually not here. She's in Brazil. As of 5 days ago, we're getting married at the end of the month, and she's there to get the preparations going and spend some time with her family, while I'll be going down there later down the line in the month, around the 22nd. So I'm all alone, and all the things that I'm used to doing now, I kind of have to do double, and I don't wanna, like I like doing my thing, but now basically we can't afford an editor. We're not in a position where we can afford an editor. Editors are actually expensive. So what we do is she edits the videos and makes the thumbnails, and I record them, make the decks, and record the intros. Now I have to do everything except for the thumbnails. Shout outs to Gabby, she's making them from Brazil for me. But I have to edit my videos, and that is very time consuming. And I also have been, I have been a bit lazy about it in certain aspects. I think subconsciously, at least, like it wasn't intended, but I wasn't editing them as much as I should, and I was keeping some parts, and instead of making it easier to watch. And I got somebody like call me out for it in one of the recent videos, so I appreciate you bringing it to my attention. Today's video is as edited as it can be, and very easy to watch because of that. So, I do learn from my mistakes. And today's deck, ladies and gentlemen, is perhaps one of my greatest creations, and one that I'm extremely excited to share. A deck that also happens to counter one of the more popular decks in the meta, which is Mono Black Discard. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is this right here, Deck Builder's Talent. These two decks that I have ready for you guys for today and tomorrow are just off the charts. Like, I think, because I have my ups and downs when it comes to brewing. I think I have made some decks so far that have been underwhelming. Like, I didn't like going back, I think my Rokouuu deck could have been a lot better. Other builds that I think were a little bit lackluster, but I'm not always going to deliver something that I'm super proud of. That's just life. But this is a deck that I am going to remember for a long time, because I put tremendous amount of time into this deck, a lot of effort, but I loved every minute of it because I think we have something pretty special here. What we have here is a deck built around Builder's Talent. Everybody talks about Bandit's Talent. That's like all everybody mentions, the Mono Discard. This is a very underappreciated of, when it comes to the enchantment class. We have one for each color in Bloom Barrow, and this is one that people don't really talk much about, and it's a shame because it's an amazingly designed card. Easily one of my favorite cards from the expansion, and let's dive into it. Let's explain what this deck is about, because I look at this and I think it's art, honestly. But again, that's also why it has such a pretentious deck title as well. Deck Builder's Talent. The Builder's Talent is a 2-mana enchantment class. When it enters, it creates a 0/4 token wall defender, which means it cannot attack. You have a blocker here that can protect you a little bit against aggression. But when things start to get really exciting is when we level up to 2. Whenever one or more non-creature, non-land permanents, so basically not lands or creatures, enchantments, artifacts, battles, right? Am I missing something? Enchantment, artifacts, battles. That should cover it. If any of these enter the board, then you get to put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. And then you can level up to 3 by paying 5 mana, and this allows you to resurrect a non-creature, non-land permanent, again, enchantments, artifacts, battles, from the graveyard, regardless of its cost, onto the board. And this specific part of the effect is why this card is extremely good against Mono Black Discard, because you can make use of their discard, get rid of something like a Chimil, the Inner Sun, put it onto the graveyard, or even like a Virtue of Knowledge, one of our big plays, and then later down the line, once we've the game has progressed, we can use the Builder's Talent, we can level it up to 3, and we can bring these back from the graveyard, and put ourselves in a situation where our opponent can't continue to keep attacking our hand, but that's just not going to be anywhere near enough to stop our value engines. Because that's what this deck tries to do. It tries to set up certain permanents, have them be on the board together, and then the sky's the limit. What are those key permanents? Chimil, the Inner Sun, is our high-end play. It's a 6-mana artifact. Spells you control cannot be countered, and then at the beginning of your end step, you discover 5. As you guys can see there, you exile cards from the top of your library until you find a card with mana value 5 or less, which is essentially the entirety of our deck, right? Because we have no other 6-drop besides Chimil the Inner Sun. So everything else is 5 mana or less, which means everything else is game for this effect, right? And then we have the Virtue of Knowledge. The Virtue of Knowledge is a 5-mana enchantment that I am getting addicted to. You guys are going to see more of this tomorrow as well. Like, I just keep having amazing ideas with this card. It's a 5-mana enchantment. It's a heavy investment, but it has a big payoff. If a permanent entering causes a triggered ability of a permanently controlled trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. And this is the key component of this deck, because Virtue of Knowledge will make it so that once you level up Builder's Talent to level 2, every time a non-creature, non-land permanent enters the board, this effect will trigger twice. So think about it. We have a Virtue of Knowledge, we have a level 2 Builder's Talent, and then we play something as simple as a Spyglass Siren. What's going to happen? What's going to happen is Spyglass will trigger twice, which means she will spawn 2 map tokens, and every single one of these map tokens will trigger the Builder's Talent twice, which means that if we apply all these buffs onto the Spyglass Siren, we play a Spyglass Siren and our Builder's Talent will essentially buff it 4 times. Twice for the first map, twice for the second map, and it'll get it to a 5/5 stat line immediately. This is important to know because that's what this deck does. This deck is comprised mostly of non-creature permanents. In fact, the only creatures that we're running are 1-drops in Spyglass Siren and Novice Inspector. But then we have stuff like Tinker's Tote that can generate us a 2/1/1 gnome artifact creature tokens, and we have Case of the Filch Falcon, which once is solved, which can be solved automatically with this alone, by the way, can turn one of our cheap artifacts into a flying bird with 4+1/+1 counters on it that we can continue to keep on building. So what this deck is trying to do is it's trying to set up a board with some key permanents and then have specific creatures get buffed to hell and back. You just buff them again and again and again and again and again, and then all of a sudden they're massive. If it's a Spyglass Siren that has flying, your opponent can't block it. OTK, game over. That's what we're doing here. We have a bunch of removal that is in the form of enchantments here that synergizes with Virtue of Knowledge, Seal from Existence. I personally really like this one. I think it's underplayed. The Ward 3 is really reliable. And being able to target non-land permanents, including like anything that's not a creature, is very, very important. But the key one here is the Static Net. Has the similar effect without the ward, but upon entry, it gives you 2 life and creates a taps Power Stone token, which allows us to a lot of times play Static Net on turn 4 and then play Chima on turn 5, making use of that Power Stone token to tap mana for it and play it. So we have all this removal. Spring-loaded Saw Blades I really like. Upon entry effect, dealing damage at flash speed to attackers. Key against mono red. Get Lost gives us also very reliable removal that can destroy enchantments as well in a pinch. Can also be used on our own side. Maybe destroy one of our walls that we don't need anymore, generated by Builder's Talent, and then generate these tokens that will proc the Builder's Talent. You know, there's that flexibility, though most often than not you're going to be using this for the opponent. Keep that in mind. And a one-off of Master's Guide Mural, you know, it's just there. It's a decent upon entry effect that can turn into like a value engine, but it's there to just be cheated out with Chimil most of the time. And then the My Stone of the Weak Stone, another upon entry effect that we can duplicate with the Virtue of Knowledge, and one that can allow us to refill our hand or deal with the opposing board while giving us that key colorless mana that we can use for the maps, for the clues, and you know, for some of our other artifacts as well. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the deck list right there. Big shout outs to Tinker's Tote. Upon entry effect, triggers twice, and allows us to also gain some health gain. Very important card because we, like, one of the weaknesses that we can be in situations where we have all this setup going, but we just cannot manage to keep a creature on board because it's not like we have crazy creature generation. So playing Tinker's Tote allows us to, you know, be able to do that in certain situations while also defending against swarm strategies, which can be some of the roughest matchups we encounter. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the build. Being able to bring back Chimil or Virtue of Knowledge after being discarded with Builder's Talent onto the board makes the matchup against Mono Black discard just hilarious. And what we have here is a deck that I'm tremendously proud of, and one that I'm really excited to share, and one that I hope you guys try out and have fun with, because man, there's just a lot more to this Bloomberry expansion. I know everybody's playing the same deck, but that's honestly a fault of the player base just not being very innovative, because they've done an amazing job designing cards, and the options are there. You just have to stop being an NPC and dwell into them. And I'm going to stop rambling. Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for daily Magic the Gathering content. Hope you enjoy today's games. I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, here we go. Let's show them that deck builder's talent. Unmatched. Unrivaled. As commandment will be. Hopefully our first victim. As we have a hand. We have a playable hand. It's 4 lands. We're missing, you know, the deck builder's talent. the builder's talent. Oh my god. But we have the case of the Filch Falcon. We got removal. So if we find ourselves flooding a little bit, drawing too many lands, we can resort to the clue to cycle through our deck. Fabled Passage turn 1 makes me believe that this is not a very fast-paced deck. It's kind of odd seeing Fabled Passage initially. That kind of tells us that their hand is not full of lands. Because if your hand is full of lands, I don't think you lead off with a Fabled Passage. I'm gonna cycle through my deck, even though I could be solving this case. I'd rather just find my pieces first. I'm gonna drop that Fountain Port in there because I know that's a lane that I'm gonna want to use. We're pretty good in regards to, of like color resources. Like, we're not gonna have a problem with that. The problem is the dinosaurs are coming, and we keep drawing lands. But the good thing is now the Fountain Port is enabled. Can start generating us a token, and then we can potentially draw with the Might Stone and the Weak Stone. I'm gonna swing first. And then I'm quite simply gonna play the Virtue of Knowledge. Because we are not under pressure, and that is the perfect moment to develop this card. This enchantment will just duplicate every single one of our upon entry effects, which, considering the big plays that I got here, that's gonna go a long way. And it's our way of punishing this slow approach, as we see one of their, if not their first play, and it's more ramp. Oh god. They're coming. And I'm gonna play the Might Stone and the Weak Stone. I'm gonna draw a bazillion. Then I'm gonna attack. And because I have 2 mana from this, I'm gonna play the Tinker's Tote, which will proc twice with the Virtue of Knowledge and allow us to swarm. And solve the case. You know, pretty solid, but they have 8 mana. 8 mana. The sky's the limit for them. I'm worried about a Smuggler Surprise. It wouldn't be very surprising, but it would be very powerful. Like a Smuggler Surprise into some crazy units. There we go. Jesus. Okay, they got the Raccoon, and this thing will proc twice, drawing them 2. Really wish I had the builder's talent, then I could start capitalizing on this. But right now, that's not the case. I need to make sure I have enough mana here to do things. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 mana, 8 mana there. I'm gonna generate the Master's Guide mural to create these 2 tokens, and I'm thinking here because this is a tricky situation. I have 3 mana left. I feel like no matter what, like I am gonna need to be playing untapped lands here. And create this line of defense. We don't have 3 mana to enable. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Oh, you gotta be. Oh. That is bullshit. We have to reach a situation where we can muscle this. The problem is we lost one of our builder's talent with that shit. Right now, I don't feel like I need to commit this. I'm just gonna draw. I'm gonna use this to draw through my deck and see if I can find that builder's talent so I can actually turn this board into something menacing. We have a virtue of knowledge on board, man. Like, we got a lot going on here. We got a lot going on here. I kind of want to preserve these novice inspectors. I could transform this to continue producing, but I want to keep drawing. Trigger this twice with the virtue of knowledge. Seal of existence is amazing here. I need you to stop doing that. Trigger that twice. Get rid of you. Get rid of you. And then get rid of you. Full swing. That's 14. 14 damage. Right off the bat. They got to make another big play here. It could be the Bramble Familiar. But it is Itali, the Primal Conqueror. Okay, let's see what they get from us. I swear to God, that's another builder's talent. Okay, a Tinker's Toad. That's actually annoying. That is annoying. What is that? Create a tap treasure token. Exile the top 2 cards of your library. Okay. Tally. They keep that on the hand. On the top. Okay. Oh, this match is... This is gonna be a hassle. There's no way around. This is gonna be a hassle. But the virtue of knowledge is the key. The virtue of knowledge is the key. I need to play the Spyglass Siren. Because I need to find, man. I need to find things. So I gotta make use of these maps I'm gonna generate. There we go. Now we're talking. I'm gonna play one Novice Inspector. With the virtue of knowledge, as you can see, I can trigger the builder's talent twice. I can buff the Spyglass Siren. Because it is a flyer, and that's what's really gonna give me an edge in this kind of stalemate. This sort of deck, this Naya, it's all about big-ass creatures. As long as we can match their power and not get trampled over by their board, we're not dead. So we keep everything in the back. Everything in the back. Absolutely everything. We have the spring-loaded Saw Blades with Virtue of Knowledge, which allows us to deal 10 damage to a tapped creature. So as soon as they attack, we can nullify one attacker. But we can definitely expect something really big to happen here. They got the Smuggler Surprise. They have the Itali. These will fade at the end of the turn, so they play that Italy. Okay. What is that? Another? They took all of our talent. They stole our talent. What's coming in? The Carnosaur? Okay. Destroy all artifacts with mana value 3 or less. It is what it is. They don't attack. Okay. Okay. Another one. Okay, here we go. I think we have the opening, ladies and gentlemen. I believe we may have the opening. Let's tap correctly, though. Second virtue of knowledge. The Spyglass Siren is all we need. We're gonna build, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna build. Let's go! Let's go! Oh, man. Oh, it feels good every time. It took us a while to get the builder's talent. The fact that they got 2 and we got 1 out of our own deck is kind of ridiculous if you think about it, but that's the power of a virtue of knowledge on board, baby. All we need is 1 flyer and we just pump it up to oblivion. Oh, man, that was nice. Let's go for the one. Lucky Rabbit. Will be our second opponent. I was gonna say final opponent, where I literally have 1 match. Let's keep this. I'm gonna lead off with the Novice Inspector because I don't have the Builder's Talent in my hand. I could just play the Meticulous Archive and search for it, but having a unit on the board is nice. It's gonna get cut down anyways. Now what we're gonna do is we are gonna go for the... I could always bop you later. Nah, I'm gonna drop that island. Having the ability to bop this clue and draw, if I don't need to use the Get Lost here. I'm gonna drop a card here, and I think it's going to be... I like the Tinker's Note next turn, to be honest. The Might Stone and the Weak Stone is also something I'm a big fan of. I'm gonna drop the Virtue of Knowledge because I can always like bring it back with the Builder's Talent later. And I'd rather develop this because this protects me against a Liliana. A turn 3 Liliana does not handle this kind of play well. This card is very, very important for this sort of deck because during my extensive playtesting, I saw that I noticed that I would run out of like creatures to buff with Builder's Talent a lot against the right decks with proper removal. I'm gonna drop this Meticulous Archive. Anything that's not a land, I will dispose of. The fact that they're playing Phyrexian Fleshgorger, at the beginning of your upkeep, you draw a card and you lose 1 life. No, we ain't about that. I'm gonna take this hit. And we're gonna get rid of Phyrexian Arena. We do find a land, but it is a tapped land, unfortunately. It is a tapped land, which is very, very unfortunate here. Cut down goes down. I can sack the Tinker's Toad for a little bit of extra health here, which we could definitely use. I mean, double removal for double tokens. Like, they're definitely putting... They're pushing the gas pedal here. Go for the throat, which they get rid of. We take a hit that we will be able to almost mitigate with this. Buying us a little bit of time. I'm actually going to do this as well, yeah. Nice. I'm going to play the Virtue of Knowledge. It's an investment now. I've gained that health so I can afford it. Oof, that's going to be... I'm going to take a lot of damage here. Come on, level up, level up, level up. You know you want to. Level up. Level up that bandit's talent. Go for it.
No more distractions. I'm tired of your secrets.
I'm going to play the Might Stone and the Weak Stone. I'm going to pay the 5 life. It's going to hurt for sure. But I'm going to be able to draw 2. Which is going to be extremely clutch here. And I'm going to preserve this Plains in hand. Now I know what they're top decking. And they're just going to discard what they put on top. I'm going to take out the Plains because... I have the sources for everything else, and now I can do this. Look at this. Double proc. Boom. Boom. Double Power Stone on top of that, baby. And now we can actually tap the stone. Oh, yeah. Keep that there. Keep this island in hand. Not giving them any chance whatsoever to come back here. Yeah, look at that. Double proc. Level 2. We're good to go, ladies and gentlemen. We're good to go. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I could bring back some... Oh my god. Omega lol. Omega lol. Look at this. You are dead. Isn't this? My audio cut off like at the very end of that match. And I got paranoid because I thought, wow, did I play this entire game without the audio? But I notice it as you know, as it stops working, like I don't hear it either. So, but I got paranoid. And I had to stop recording and record again, just in case. But it's all good. It's all good, and we got that Builder's Talent. Another black deck. Maybe not the kind of black deck we thought it was, though. Okay. I'm going to lead off with the Restless Anchorage, because I don't want to lead off with the Spyglass Siren. I want to play the Builder's... You want to play the Builder's Talent before. Ideally, you want to play this before, and you'll see what I'm talking about here. I'm going to drop the Chimil, the Inner Sun, because I have a Builder's Talent, so I can bring it back. It's a way for us to... Again, a lot of the decks that I'm designing have this card in mind, you know? Now, we show them the talent. We play Builder's Talent, we generate that wall, and next turn we can level up into Siren. They waste removal on the wall. You just love to see that every time. Like, that's just... They lose card advantage there. Isn't that a glorious thing? We're gonna level up. Level 2. Time to get building. Time to get building. Let's go with you. And then we're gonna play this plains, and we're gonna do this. Tinker's Tote, huh? I don't see myself needing that right now, actually. So I'm gonna drop it. Now we have a unit that's not vulnerable to cut down, but given that they played this, you know, we don't really expect them to have cut down unless they top decked it. But the plan is to static net. Okay. They have some of those too. They may level up here. Builder versus Bandit. We're gonna show them why we are superior. Man, I want to play double. I want to double. I'm not under immediate pressure. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna double up on the builder's talent. Now we have another. Since they're playing Tithing Blade, it is important. Okay. Oh, they get greedy. They go for the greed play. All right. Powerful card draw there. No lands, really? Look at that. And just like that, we got the thickest wall in all America. Hashtag MAGA. I don't even know what I'm saying, man. It's kind of hard not to go there whenever... Oh! I'm gonna get rid of the Get Lost. All we need is one more mana, and all of a sudden, these builders' talents, it doesn't matter if they get... That's why this deck actually matches up well against this card. Because if we get the builder's talent on the board, it doesn't matter if they get rid of our hand. As long as we have those things in the graveyard, we're good to go. And we can go for it now. And honestly, I see no reason not to. Like, I could play the Might and the Weak Stone. Like, I could do these things. But I'd rather just get this in now. We're gonna level to 3. That's the problem with mono black. They cannot interact with enchantments. This color sucks at enchantment interaction and artifact interaction, which makes this extremely safe. Like, yes, they attack the hand, but we counter that shit all day. Now we got Chamil of the Inner Sun. At the beginning of our end step, we discover 5. We have an engine here, ladies and gentlemen, of an ultimate value engine that will never... Unless it gets removed, just will never stop providing us value, except for there. That did nothing. That was pathetic. But yeah, we get an artifact. They could have removal. It's very likely they have removal, actually. Given that they didn't find the 4th land, so their entire hand is stuff. Let's try not to lose to mono black Vine Lasher, shall we? Okay, you're dead. Like, there's no planet in which I don't kill you effective immediately. Graveyard. Can we do this? How much mana do we have? We have a total of 5 mana. We can do this into this, but I think I'd kind of just rather I need to get rid of you. Like, without a shred of doubt. If I play you, I can play the Builder's Talent. No, I can't. And now I'm gonna explore with this. So I can set up what I'm... Yeah, that works. Because I can bring that out. I have more control, more agency over what happens here. And I'm just going to get rid of this thing. Like, I'm going to take away... Like, instead of getting greedy and just drawing here, I'm gonna make sure I clear the board. This thing is a threat. Especially after seeing the other guy. The Bloodletter of Baklazats. Like, I'm not playing around. I am not giving them any sort of opening here. And I am creating a must-answer threat at all times. Like I said, we have a good matchup, but there's definitely burn elements to this deck, and we have taken already a lot of damage, so we don't mess around with that. See, there's more burn. We're already at 10, man. We gotta be very careful. I don't understand when people go for this like as if it were like a sorcery effect. Okay. Okay. What do we get rid of here? I'm going to get rid of this so that I don't lose any life. We have the ability to bring this back, but we do not have that for that. How much mana do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. 7. Which means we can't do that and that. So we can do this, but we cannot activate the level 2. And I think that's okay. And then when we bring back... Let me drop this first, see what we have here. We have another Builder's Talent. Honestly, that kind of works. So I could also just draw here. I'm gonna draw 2 cards. See if I can spawn something different from there. No saw blades, man. I have more than enough stuff to sack for the Roundmouth Viper. That's the great thing about this deck. We have a lot of permanents going on. And we have a win condition here, the Spyglass Siren. I will always block with this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sack you. And I'm going to discard you. And I'm going to block with you. Playing it safe. We could have played into a Tithing Blade here, but I'm not taking that amount of damage, no matter what. Okay. Okay. The problem here, sir, is you're dead. Exactly dead, actually. Ah! Oh, on a roll! Let's go! All right. Today, we're going to try to build against the communist idiot. We got double Builder's Talent here, ladies and gentlemen. Can I see something that's not a swamp? Like, I get it. Black is awesome. Best color. Does everybody have to play it? Builder's Talon, here we go. Okay. Some Mardu action, all right. I'm gonna go ahead and tap for you. And I'm going to build again. Building and building and building. All right. Gotta create that wall. Oh man, I think we got a triple Builder's Talent game, and that's gonna be glorious. With this Virtue of Knowledge, oh my god. This card is just so cool, man. Like, I love the fact that it gives you a wall. Like, you can't, like, apply pressure with this, but it's fantastic, like, save time. And we draw into a land, and ain't that wonderful? Ain't that sweet? Let's go level 2. Showcasing our prowess, our talent, and being relentless with it. We're leveling them up, all of them. Every last one of them, ladies and gentlemen. We're not stopping here. This is the thickest wall the world has ever seen. Let's give you a counter. Let's give you a counter. Put you at 2/6 sideline so you can turn into that. And let's drop that Seachrome Coast. Be nice to be able to, like, actually, like, sometimes, you know, these lands are balanced, right? Because it feels kind of bad to, like, draw them later in the game. And we definitely could have made use of that mana. Like, we could have definitely made use of that mana. Okay, the Geological Appraiser. The infamous Cruel Claw. You have to connect. Right, you have Menace, but you have to connect. Okay. Well, you see... Alright. How do I reach these kids? One here. One here. One here. And, oh, math. One here. Massive jakes. Massive yikes. Oh god, please don't be something like insane. Okay, an appraiser. Okay. You have to discard a card. Let's sack this, gain some health, and let's pray. Let's pray that we find removal for that. I mean, even if we generate a blocker, like they have exact lethal on board right now. Like, we need to be able to deal with that board, and the only way we do that is by finding like a get lost or something. Like, we need something. We need a get lost It needs to be a get lost here. Damn. Damn.
That was looking like the perfect game. Like the absolute perfect game.
In which I was gonna showcase the deck at its strongest. And then it's just like, nope. That enchantment is crazy though. Definitely a good choice for the meta. Don't get me wrong, like it's a great card. And we just so happen to get completely dunked by it. Redemption time. Let's go. Alright, Jope. I'm gonna call you Jope. I'm on a salty run back here, Jope. What are you gonna do about it? Hopefully not much. We got the Builder's Town here. We got a 3-lander. We lead off with the Reckless Anchorage. And then we got some removal to follow that up with. Pretty decent hand if we're facing an aggressive deck. Honestly, I'd love to see a Mountain. Be nice to end the video on a mono-red matchup, no? Just anything but Swan. It's like it's the same shit, like ever. Oh, it's a mad copy of expecting something else. I actually match up well into this, so I don't mind in that sense, but I would like to offer some more, you know, variety when it comes to matchups. You know what I'm saying? But I can't control the ladder. I can't control what people want to play. I can't control the fact that everybody plays the same thing. It's out of my control. You're mono black, man. You can't interact with my enchantments. That's why you're gonna get dunked on this game. For playing the thing that everybody expects you to play. Oh yeah, they're getting dunked. Trust me. I could have killed that. But I'd rather preserve my removal for other things. Like this get loss is real useful. The Bronco, you know, it's dealing damage to them. Like the moment they saddle, then I'll worry about it. Like yeah, it's giving them card advantage here, which is really nice. But I don't think it warrants that. How about we just ramp into Chamil? Just keep it simple. Against the deck with discard tools and the likes. Why not just do this? Oh yeah. Yeah, because it's mono black, you don't have to worry about your artifacts or enchantments being interacted with at all. It's extremely safe.
Something suspicious is going on.
And now
You won't be outsmarting me.
I think you'd be surprised, Liliana. I think you'd be surprised because you're kind of like just doing mono black things, and I know very well what mono black things are. I see it all the time. And you just fueled my builder's talent because you're just like spamming cards without actually like acknowledging what your opponent is doing. And you drop my Virtue of Knowledge, which enables that. I have Power Stone mana. Basically, you fucked up. You fucked up big time. Watch. And now you have my permission to die.
Fine. I know when I'm not wanted.
Oh yeah. Not the most impactful static net, but you know. The ramp is very neat. And oh boy, when we get a creature in there. We just need a creature though. Like, I got nothing.
Enough with the mysteries.
Okay, now I'll get rid of the spring-loaded saw blades here. You can keep discarding all you want. There we go. Let's get to work, shall we? Boom. With the virtue of knowledge, every proc happens twice, so this spyglass siren is gonna grow. We're gonna build on it faster than you would expect. And now, you know, let me just clear the board. Not even a map. I'm not even gonna let you have a map. Fuck your map.
Oh, that's my cue to leave.